bapak gue yang ngomong, bukan gue.
Jadi menurut lo gimana?
Setuju sih. Nego-nego, I'm using my money, so boleh dicicil nggak, boleh apa nggak, boleh apa. Dan pas nyampe ke rumah, di towing gitu, and my dad like, ini mobil jangan masuk ke rumah, ini mobil sampah.
No way.
Kalau gue ngelihat gue yang masa lalu, kalau gue nggak dikerasin sama orang tua gue, I don't think gue jadi person yang sekarang.
Hi Speeders, welcome to another episode of Speeder Talks where we talk about cars, business, and everything else in between. Today kita ada special guest banget, the legendary Mr. Jeffrey Joe.
Hey guys.
A car enthusiast, a sneaker enthusiast, a businessman, entrepreneur, founder of USS Networks. Yes. So you guys must know him. So it's a pleasure. It's an honor, bro, to have you on the show. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Nah, kita maybe before we start, we'd like to thank also Regent Residences for this wonderful view and this wonderful venue as always. So thank you to Regent Residences for hosting us today.
Yep.
So before we begin, of course di bawah I cannot help tapi ngelihat mobil yang cakep banget, the legendary R34 GTR in the flesh. Udah lama banget gue nggak lihat.
Karena kan lu yang kepengen, lu yang rekomendasiin itu mobil loh. Mendingan kita bahas historinya, gimana gue bisa beli itu mobil.
Yes, please.
And how you know me. Lu yang mesti jelasin dulu.
Boleh. Gue yang cerita nih.
Iya dong.
Oke. Jadi dulu kita ketemu was a few years ago ya. We had a brand that we collaborated on, ketemu on set. And then we had a couple of discussions waktu itu. Had a call afterwards. Talked about speed creed and everything else in between. Terus gue inget banget lo nanya kayak, Mike, I want to buy a legendary car.
Yes.
What should I get? I know a couple of names.
That's 2020, right?
Kayaknya 2020 ya. Kayaknya. Lagi pandemi lagi hot-hotnya ya.
Yes.
Oh yeah, gila, time flies. 4 years ago.
4 years ago, I was looking for a car that divine me gitu. Kayak something yang kayak apa sih yang bisa relate banget sama gua. And of course gua mesti tanya Mike lah. And kebetulan Mike juga kenal keluarga gua, itu yang lebih lucunya lagi gitu loh. Kenal encek gua, Pak Martin, kenal satu lagi Pak aduh, gue cuma tahu nama Cinanya lagi.
It's okay, bro.
Niem dan Ninja. Tinggal bareng satu apartment.
Yeah, neighbors. Yeah. Small world.
Dan gitu, so mungkin dari gua juga, gue nanya Mike karena in my whole life, my family tuh kebanyakan selalu belinya mobil baru dan always European. Itu koleksinya dia kan.
Iya.
Dulu Pak Martin koleksinya kalau di pavilion tuh mobilnya apa aja?
Wah gila banyak banget. Kayaknya the whole second basement tuh punya dia semua sih. Tapi all sorts of Mercedes. I think he's like very fond of Mercedes.
Crazy.
Every year gue sampai kadang-kadang nggak tahu nih bedanya apa ya. Sama yang kadang-kadang. I'm pretty sure there's something different. So ada batch yang berbeda gitu. Maybe dari kedutaan or something like.
Ada batch-nya.
Ada batch. Ya kan nih.
Always.
Okay, this is something special. There is a red SLS.
Yes.
Beautiful SLS. Tapi Mercedes of all sorts and sizes. Gue ngeliat di situ.
Jadi dari semuanya itu, my family crazy lah soal cars. Always crazy. Dari my grandfather, my father, my encek nggak ada encek, itu crazy. Ya of course menurun ke anaknya lah. Tapi anaknya membelot nih. Jadi yang biasanya bokap gue selalu serunya, ya just buy European yang you suka gitu. Porsche cocok nih. Dan Porsche-nya kau bilang kalau nggak Carrera, it's not a Porsche. I'm sorry for that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't blame that tip, bro, but okay.
Ya itu kan bapak gue yang ngomong, bukan gue.
Jadi menurut lo gimana?
Setuju sih.
Wah.
Mau gue tambah lagi nggak?
Boleh, please. It's an open mic.
Kalau 996 juga bukan. Ya, just kidding. I love it. Cuma maksudnya, tapi gue nggak tahu kenapa, gue recall ke masa kecil sebelum gue telepon sama si Mike juga. I think gue selalu nonton mobil-mobil Jepang. Dari dulu tuh gue main di time zone lah, midnight lah, apalah. Selalu gue choose-nya tuh satu, the R34 GTR.
Era initial D nih ya?
Ini initial D dan Fast and Furious. Jadi emang udah kepikiran dari mindset gue dari kecil itu, I gotta have this car. And if it's something one car that gue bakal hold forever, it's gonna be the GTR Skyline. Jadi gue telepon juga sama Mike, gue juga nanya kali ya waktu itu, kayak how the hell I can get this car?
Yeah, it's so hard.
It's so hard.
So gimana? How was that story? Lo akhirnya bisa? How long? Lo berapa lama waktu nyari?
I think takes almost a year.
Setahun, oke.
Setahun to find that car. After I call with Mike, Mike suggests it. Find the GTR R34 and I was looking around. Waktu itu gue juga cari-cari, tapi harganya kayak udah kayak 2M, 1,7. Ya, this is, ingat era 2020 lagi COVID. Harga tiba-tiba melanjut.
Iya.
Don't know why.
Don't know why. Bosan kan. Orang berduit bosan.
Bosan, ya, gue beli-beli
let's goreng
lagi.
the market, bro.
Udah gitu, finally gue, ceritanya lucu banget. So I was like, waktu itu masih hobinya di bicycle semua. So me and the Brompton gangs lagi naik sepedaan, gitu kan. Lagi naik sepedaan.
Brompton ya gue gitu.
Gila ya 2020. Brompton lagi kegoreng banget.
Kegoreng banget.
So we like, gue sama geng Brompton gue lagi naik sepeda. Itu ban gue kempes. Gitu. Dan gitu salah satu gue kayak IG story, sepeda gue kempes nih, where should I benerin gitu kan. Ada yang kasih tahu, kayaknya mungkin tahu deh dia Jacqueline itu yang di Senayan City manajer.
Oh iya.
Ya you know deh,
Yes.
Francisca Jacqueline.
Iya.
Dia punya suaminya bengkel.
Oke.
Bengkel mobil. Sebenarnya dia belum kasih tau bengkel mobil, cuman dia bilang, di situ ada bengkel suaminya gua tuh, gitu kan.
I see.
So gua kayak, oke, gua masukin. Kok gua masuk? Ini bukan bengkel sepeda ya bro, ini bengkel mobil. What the hell gitu. Jadi gua masuk, gua udah kayak cuman kayak orang goblok. And ternyata itu bengkel buat bikin karbon. Jadi dia spesialis untuk bikin karbon.
Oh, oke.
Yeah, so I saw a car like full carbon. I was like,
wow.
What the hell?
Di daerah mana nih bengkel?
Sleepy.
Oh di Sleepy. Oke.
And udah gitu ada satu mobil yang dari ujung ditutupin. And I open up.
Of course, naturally.
Like, I don't even ask.
Semua yang ditutup lo buka.
Gue buka gitu. And it's an R34.
Okay. That R34.
Yeah.
No way.
I was
Gila.
like,
talk about fate, bro.
Yeah.
Gila sih, itu udah meant to be banget.
Yeah,
Okay,
I open it up and ini jadi kalau tanya Jacqueline, so
Okay.
and suaminya waktu itu nanya, bro ini ya for sale gitu loh. How much is that? Like 3 billion. And 3 billion is big money, of course. And for that time, gue nggak pernah nyangka, maksudnya bakal beli itu mobil. Kayak maksudnya, of course, all my family semuanya pada bilang, gue tanya kan langsung nanya, worth it nggak sih?
Yeah.
Even though I'm using my own money, but
Yeah.
in my family, everything must be as.
Of
Ya,
course,
lu mesti tanya, lu punya senior tentang mobil, tanya cek gua. And everyone in my family against on it gitu.
Oh wow.
Kayak, kenapa ini jelek? Kenapa? Lu jangan mau di-scam lah atau apa, gak bla bla bla.
Reasonnya apa kalau boleh tahu kayak?
Karena maksudnya ini mobil Jepang, second.
Okay.
Kenapa value-nya 3M?
Oh karena second mobil Jepang, I see.
Iya, maksudnya lu bisa beli Porsche gitu. In that time I think kalau lu beli 997 di tahun 2020, I think cuma 1,8 deh. I think that time.
Iya.
1,8, 1,5.
So it's like nearly half the price.
Iya, kayak why?
Tapi that means their generation nggak pernah expose ke GTR bahwa this is an iconic car tuh nggak sama sekali.
Nope.
Interesting ya.
Iya, mereka bilang kayak ngapain gitu loh. And then
jadi R32 pun eranya R32, R33 was never set in their minds kayak this is a good car gitu.
R34 yang paling wow kan sebenarnya kan.
Iya.
Itu aja mereka
itu aja ada nggak. NSX gitu juga.
No, they always think European car is better than Japanese car.
I see. Okay.
There's mindset gitu.
Okay.
Lu udah ngeliat dari koleksi mereka kan.
Iya.
And after that, itu mobil bukan si suaminya Jacqueline, tapi dia tangan ke tengahnya lah gitu loh. So, gue nego-nego, I'm using my money, so boleh dicicil nggak, boleh apa. Really hard time until 1 tahun kemudian dapat duitnya, gue bisa beli, boom. Dan pas nyampe ke rumah, di towing gitu, and my dad like, ini mobil jangan masuk ke rumah, ini mobil sampah.
No way.
No, for real. This is an ugly car, please don't put it in my garage. Itu sempat ditaruh di luar hampir 1 tahunan karena mobilnya juga dalam kondisi gue beli dengan harga 3 billion is really rusty. udah
Okay.
dicopotin, soalnya bekas drag race
Yeah,
gitu.
yeah, yeah,
But yang bikin gue fall in love adalah interiornya semua masih original.
Okay.
Yes, and it's full paper.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, and then gue
Tapi nggak boleh masuk gila.
Nggak
That's
boleh
extreme,
masuk,
bro.
iya.
Soalnya ada space di dalam.
iya ada, but nggak boleh masuk
Gila,
gitu
gila.
loh.
Oke,
Sampai
oke.
one day ini bokap gue, sampai one day yang ngubah ceritanya itu adalah bokap gue lagi main sepedaan juga dia juga
Oke.
crazy sepedaan. Dan
Yeah.
gitu, kayaknya kalau nggak salah dia tuh lagi main sepedaan di Sunter.
Oke.
Ketemu Lukas Engine Plus.
Oke, ya.
Si Lukas lagi pakai mobil yang sama.
Oh.
R34 gitu kan. Begitu bokap gue dengan gobloknya kayak, anak saya juga punya nih mobil.
Iya.
I forget is Lucas or Randy, but dia bilang, oh nggak mungkin om, anaknya punya R35 kali. Ya which is makes sense kan.
Iya.
Enggak, sama. Dia tuh dikasih lihat fotonya tuh. Oh om, saya datang deh ke rumah om, saya pengen lihat gitu kan. So, I think thank you for shout out for Engine Plus juga, karena dia yang mengubah bapak gua, karena mereka datang, udah gitu dia ngelihat R34-nya, waktu itu belum dibenerin loh.
Oke.
Udah gitu belum dibenerin, udah gitu si Lucas udah ngeliat, R34 loh, and with all the full paper and whatever, tawar 6,5.
Oh my
And
goodness.
bapak gua bilang, put it in the garage, yo! What the hell is this? Dan sejak itu mata bokap gue kebuka. And if you want to find this vintage old car, go get it.
Oh
gitu.
wow.
Dari situ the journey gue beli so many Porsche classic like 944, 964.
Oh,
RX-7.
that was the beginning of it. Setelah
Iya,
itu.
jadi itu gue udah mulai beli. Ya kadang-kadang jual beli gitu.
Yeah.
And this was fun experience.
So change this mind about JDMs in general. And gue tahu lo ada NSX juga. So change his mind about NSX.
Iya, bokap gue sekarang ya dia udah diem aja sih. Tapi ya, I think gue punya roots yang dimana I think I don't want to say that GDM is more superior than European cars, but I think GDM is more accessible, sama repairnya lebih gampang dibanding European cars. And I think for the beginners, buat anak-anak yang lebih muda, kalau lo mau coba, I think GDM is the way to start lah.
Okay, so has your dad or grandpa, I don't know if he still drives, pernah bawa GTR-nya nggak?
Bokap gue, kalau kakek gue nggak mau. He didn't want to touch it. My dad pernah bawa, kan rumah kita tanjakannya tinggi tuh 2 meter. Dia sempat hampir nabrakin GTR gue, gara-gara koplingnya susah banget. Tadi siapa tuh nyobain lu kan? Kopling susah nggak? Tipis banget. Jadi bapak gue aja, mobil apaan nih? Kayak gini 6,5.
Susah dibawa.
Bikin orang stres kan.
Iya.
But I think we need to appreciate, karena kan mobil makin lama makin jadi ke elektrik lah dan segala macam. Dan this kind of momentum of the teknologi yang masukin manual, ngerasain mobilnya, kayak gitu makin jarang dan
dicari.
And I think itu yang makin dicari sih. So gue appreciate orang-orang yang masih suka dengan this kind of cars.
Iya. Tapi interesting juga ya. That means would you say, kan ini harganya lagi gila banget ya. Let's say GTR NSX. And someone like your dad or your uncle, for example, itu suka mobil. Nah, do they like the car for the reputation it has and whatever, atau dari driving feel, quality and everything else? Menurut lo yang mana? Because GTR juga naik is because of the market, ya kan?
Definitely.
Tapi sentiment marketnya is because of the culture behind the brand.
Yes.
Atau kayak emang drivingnya is like.
No, I think it's the culture.
100%
I mean kalau
culture.
sekarang kita ngomongin driving experience, come on man, itu lu tanding sama Porsche yang baru 992 Turbo juga udah kalah speed, kalah enak, kalah apa. Cuman I think it's all about the culture, yang maksudnya ya Nissan udah gak bakal bikin ini lagi. It's something yang a moment of history in the car culture yang you cannot replicate.
Gitu. Benar. Yeah, interesting. So collection lo ada, you have like 8 Porsches right now?
Yeah, some of
a lot of Porsches.
Yeah, I think kita sekeluarga gila Porsche juga. Because there's one reason about it. Because my boss, which is namanya kungkung gua, my grandfather, selalu nggak pernah bolehin kita, satu keluarga ya, termasuk bapak gua, encek gua satu lagi, do not buy Rolls Royce sama Lamborghini and Ferrari. Itu 3 nggak boleh beli.
Wow, oke.
The reason is nggak pantas, kita tuh keluarga nggak pantas depan. Jadinya borong Porsche dong.
Puluhan Porsche is okay. Just not one Ferrari, not one Lamborghini. Oke.
I don't even know, cuman ya
Apa filosofi dia apa? It's like too
nggak
loud.
pantas.
Oh, nggak pantasnya tuh karena
kita nggak pantas, keluarga kita
Okay.
nggak pantas, kita bukan konglo katanya gitu.
I see.
Emang benar kita bukan konglo lah, kita keluarga biasa
Okay,
aja.
okay,
But
okay.
yeah, just choose something yang lebih low key lah, which is Porsche.
I see.
Ya, jadi
see.
makanya Porsche banyak.
Ada ratusan sih, cuman ya. Tapi ya, just no Ferrari. Oke. So, jadi yang di pantangan tuh ada 3. Tadinya
Iya,
JDM, but you change their mind.
Iya, JDM. Cuman gue emang nggak tahu kenapa gue emang nggak pernah tertarik untuk punya. Mungkin gara-gara I think the way I see Lamborghini, Ferrari, no offense gitu loh.
No offense
But I think
taken.
it's too loud juga. Gue lebih demen orang suka gue punya mobil karena based on gue punya interest aja sih yang dimana it have some culture yang lu gak bisa beli dengan duit.
I see. Ya.
Dan satu lagi mungkin yang salah satu favorite gue, mobil yang mungkin ini bukan gue yang beli tapi adalah kebanggaan di keluarga gue adalah we do have 2 Century.
Oh
Toyota
wow.
Century yang
Oke.
maksudnya mungkin mereka yang kayaknya definisi mereka itu ya TTA.
Oke.
The Century is really nice.
Iya.
When I
So ada Japanese car.
ada
dong,
Japanese
ya?
akhirnya ada,
Akhirnya
cuma kan
ada.
mobil baru kan.
Oh,
So the
I
Century,
see. Okay.
and when I use it, like it's really nice.
Dekat sama Rolls Royce lah ya. So
Yeah.
it's just got the Japanese
I don't know
version.
why, like kenapa kakek gue pilih Century dibanding Rolls.
Interesting.
But but mungkin karena ya TTA aja.
Iya. Oke.
Iya.
Jadi so what's your favorite car sekarang out of your?
Oke, dari semua semua yang gue coba, I think akan can I pick 3?
I guess. Okay.
Number 3 tuh actually the NSX. I think
Okay.
NSX visualnya bagus banget. I mean it's wide, it's long, it's ceper. Itu bener-bener waktu lu nyetir, lu tuh pendek banget.
I see.
Kayak bener-bener, you are the most sleeper car gitu loh.
Iya.
And I think maksudnya NSX gue automatic and it
Okay.
feels so great to drive those cars.
I see.
Iya.
Legendary.
Looks
car.
beautiful juga.
Iya, cakep banget.
Harga masih oke lah.
Iya.
Kedua, my Porsche 997 Turbo.
Oh, that's my dream car. Bro.
Iya, itu seru
Gila
juga,
sih.
itu ada historinya juga. Itu ternyata punyanya si Garage One, dibeli
Oke.
sama Egy.
Oh.
Egy jual ke gua.
Ex Egy.
Iya.
Oke. Itu mesti didoain dulu, bro. Kayaknya.
Udah gue bener.
Oh, udah.
Gue balikin semua. Oh my god, itu pertama juga nangis gue nyetirnya gila.
Oh, oke.
Oh my god,
Kenapa?
ceper banget.
Oh, ceper.
Iya, Egy kan kalau itu kan kayak gitu kan.
Iya. Slammed.
Ya gue nggak tahu lah si
Gosh.
Egy udah melakukan apa aja di mobil itu.
Oke.
Tapi sekarang udah balik, gue itu.
Udah restore everything back
Gua-
to its stock
Iya,
stock
stop.
form.
Even velgnya aja gue cari yang ininya di mana gitu. Jadi
oke.
gue balikin. Soalnya si Egy punya ceper banget, naik rumah gue aja nggak bisa, nyerempet terus. Kadang-kadang kena polisi tidur aja tuh kena belakangnya duak kayak gitu.
no.
Gila Egy sih,
Oke.
crazy guy man.
Iya,
Makanya
iya,
udahlah
iya,
stick di
iya.
Ferrari aja. Gila.
Oke.
But I love
So that's number 2.
that's number 2.
Okay.
And,
Gara-gara like the driving feel. I mean,
I
out of
think-
the 3, probably the fastest kali. Is it?
Yeah,
The
I
fastest,
think
yeah,
that's
okay.
the fastest one. Yes. Suaranya gue juga suka banget. Gue yang point 1 ya, tapi ya.
Yeah, but still already PDK,
yeah,
right?
PDK.
Yeah,
Udah
yeah.
gitu.
Best transmission.
I think it's something yang future classic. Jadi gue kalau mau beli sesuatu, gue mesti yakinnya this is gonna be the future classic.
I see.
Actually gue suka 964 juga, gue suka 993. Tapi
Okay.
997 tuh yang antara gabungan klasik
Yes.
sama future
Setuju,
classic,
setuju.
modern semua di jalan satu,
Yeah,
997. Boom.
Well, some would argue 996, cuman kayaknya gue lebih suka 997 sih. Just
Yeah.
looks wise and everything, I don't know.
Ya kelihatan dari harga lah.
Iya sih. Benar.
I don't know why 996 itu nggak pernah
Yang mata
goes-
belekan itu sih, yang
Iya.
menurut gue that was the...
I don't know why. I think it looks good right now.
Okay.
It looks good. But 996 selalu dapat kayak jadi anak tirinya Porsche sih. I think gara-gara Boxsternya terlalu mirip gak sih? The Boxster, punya
with the
muka
lampu.
yang
It's the
sama.
front ya, headlights-nya aja sih.
Iya, jadi orang kayak, ini apa sih ini Boxster
Iya,
ya?
iya,
Kenapa
iya.
kalau Boxster bukan Porsche?
You know, it's justified soalnya ada beberapa orang jual modification cuma untuk nutupin bagian belek lampunya
Jesus
doang kayak
Christ,
just so it looks like
Oh
a
iya, I think
997.
dulu ada orang yang beli 996 buat di-convert jadi
Di-
Oh my god. Okay.
So that's number 2.
Number 2.
Okay,
and
so
of course
number one. Okay,
number one kita udah tahu is a GTR, my GTR
Yes, okay.
V2 spec. And I think itu mobil impian gue dari kecil. Dari kecil gue Midnight Tunes, gue main pakai itu.
Yeah.
And I think the history of it. Oh, satu lagi yang gue belum kasih tahu. Pas gue buka tuh, yang kita kembali lagi ke bengkel, gue buka,
Okay.
di situ ada plat nomornya. B77 GTR.
Okay.
77 means Jejo, man. Tuhan udah kasih gue anugerah. This is your fucking car, bro. Like, put the hands on it. Jesus said, take the wheel, bro.
Wait, Jejo dari mana 7 is
Kan
like
77 kan J.
Oh,
I don't know, this is like cocokologi.
Okay.
But, oh,
Oh iya.
Di rumah gue soalnya kebanyakan 77 juga.
Oh
Kan
gitu.
Jo. Jadi waktu gue ngeliat, Jesus, it's 77 GTR. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Ya,
It's meant
ini
to be.
cocokologi ya. Cuman, and I think Jesus put my hand, like pencet pin.
No, I don't want it. No, kayak malah aja. Okay. Okay, nice.
Yeah, so these are the 3 cars that I think gue sayang banget.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, wife. Lu nomor 4.
Oh man, gua nggak involved ya. I'm sorry, but so what? Okay, so maybe out of those 3, okay, so kita udah tahu those are dream cars. Kayak GTR-nya aja deh. What's 1 or 2 things yang mungkin yang lu setelah udah own kayak, oh man, these are like couple of things yang knickknacks yang gue tahu would be an issue atau kayak
Okay.
yang what you don't like about it.
Oke, GTR ya. Kita ke GTR dulu.
GTR ya?
GTR aja. GTR gue nggak tahu kalau koplingnya sejahat itu sih. I mean, ya tadi ada
Yeah.
tim lu yang nyobain, and it's really hard to drive it. And
Okay.
I learned manual long time ago.
Yeah.
But gue harus ngeles manual lagi supaya belajar
Lo bisa dapet.
for the GTR feeling gitu loh. Karena it's really hard to drive. Dan maksudnya, itu mobil kalau macet, sumpah itu over. Gue pernah berapa kali kalau lu lihat di konten-konten TikTok mungkin ada lihat orang ngedorongin GTR gue.
Oh iya.
Bener, di rumah, and it's because of suka overheat dan mati sendiri, dan kalau udah mati nggak bisa dinyalain.
Oh, kayak ngelock gitu.
Ngelok gitu, diem aja gitu. Apa
Terus lo mesti ngapain? Let it cool down.
Let it cool down 30 minutes like a woman, like your wife. Just let them shopping or going to a restaurant or whatever.
Yeah.
And after 30 minutes they will fine again.
Iya, oke.
Yeah,
So
actually-
overheat suka. Is it
Suka.
because it's highly modified? Soalnya turbonya gede banget kan?
Iya,
soalnya.
panas banget. Itu kalau udah setengah jam stuck di macet. Jadi tapi kalau kosong, he's fine.
Oke.
Makanya gue jarang banget bawa ke
Bawa-
weekdays,
bawa-
apalagi weekdays cuma buat lu doang.
Ah gila, thank you banget.
Ganjil genap,
It's an
bro.
honor, bro.
Ganjil
Gila.
genap. Yang penting lu mesti ngeliat dulu.
Iya,
Karena I believe gue suka banget ketemu orang yang appreciate carsnya bukan dari harganya,
Iya.
tapi benar-benar karena dia beneran
Suka
suka.
mobil.
This
Yes,
is the
yes.
car that I
Gila
want.
sih. Itu dari turun lift keluar aja udah kayak gila. The aura, bro, of the car is something else sih. Yeah, you can't deny it whether or not harganya mau setinggi langit gimana, tapi kayak
Yep.
auranya is something that hits home karena your childhood dibombard with all these dreams about the car kan.
Yes.
Fast and Furious definitely.
Yes,
Walaupun
initial
stikernya
D.
jangan lah. Cuman everything else about that kayak iconic, man.
Yep.
Iconic JDM legend. So you have 2 iconic JDM legends in your garage.
Yes. Oh, another one is
Amazing.
NSX. Ada NX7 juga sih, but I don't know NX7.
Oh iya. Itu iconic juga lah.
Iconic
I think
juga.
those 3 are the Trinity, Holy Trinity
Ada
of
Toyota
JDM.
Supra sebenarnya. Dulu
Oh iya,
gua,
and Supra.
Dulu gue tuh hampir juga dapat Toyota Supra di tahun 2021.
Oke.
Gua tuh, ini yang bikin gue cong banget sama Toyota Supra. So 2021 ada orang, ini bayangin lagi New Year,
Oke.
ada orang tiba-tiba tawarin gue Toyota Supra buat dengan harga 1,7 M full paper.
Oke.
2021.
Wow.
This is like New Year. I said to my wife, fuck you. I'm gonna drive to Bogor to see this car. Like harusnya makan keluarga, gue dateng.
Dang, okay.
It's the day one of New Year.
Okay.
Like semua pada, wih Petosan. Gue dateng
Oh,
ke
nyetir ke
Bogor.
Bandung.
Iya. Fuck this
Okay.
shit.
Di Bandung.
Enggak,
Oh,
di
ke
Bogor.
Bandung. Oh, Bogor. Oke.
Daerah Bogor Selatan gitu.
Okay.
Dan gue nyampe, di dalam rumah itu ada 2 mobil. Satu Subaru WRX Buckeye, sama satu lagi Toyota Supra warna merah.
Okay.
Really beautiful, legit, full paper, fatur, semua ada.
Okay.
1.7, I said like, yeah, of course, as a entrepreneurs, you
Yeah.
need to haggle, man.
Yeah.
1.5 bro,
Yeah,
gini. And end up gue difoto-fotoin dan disebarin bahwa Jejo udah ngincar di mobil. And it's become the action war, orang malah jadi bidding wars. Ternyata dibeli sama garage JKT, I think siapa?
Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know.
Ya ada deh punya Instagramnya ya disensor atau apa, dibeli sama satu orang dan dijual lagi ke Pak Sanadi yang punya Zetiun.
Oh, okay.
Dibeli sama dia harga 3,5. Jesus Christ.
Iya, wah gila sih.
So giat,
That's
man.
crazy.
Dan gue nggak tahu kenapa berapa kali mau dapat Toyota Supra, cuman nggak jadi. Dan I was like fed up, adalah fuck this shit. Gue kayak
It's not as smooth as B77 juga.
Iya, habis itu
Okay.
ya. But Toyota Supra, I think I love it, but I think NSX is better.
It's better. Okay, so we talked about your collection. Apa nih up and coming yang lo lagi ngincer? So Supra belum jodoh lah ya ini.
Belum jodoh, cuman gue juga kayak udah
Lo
over
nggak
it
actively,
lah,
proactively looking
iya.
for it. Okay.
Dan gue kan juga baru ngejual beberapa Porsche gue juga.
Yeah.
But 944 gue juga finally kejual.
Okay.
Ya. Kita tukar dengan S2000 sama Integra.
Okay.
So,
Nice.
One cars yang gue bener-bener lagi gue kepengen banget actually 993.
993.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't know why, but I think 993 the last Aircool.
Yeah.
Um,
We had a guest here who had one. Maybe you can offer him. Gary ada.
Gary waktu itu nyanyinya ke gua. Dia, Gary.
Iya.
Udah stay
Langsung
aja.
tawarin aja birunya, si biru kayak.
Gary udahlah di Land Cruiser aja. Udah.
Don't fail my test.
Dia kan Land Cruiser dulu.
Iya. He's a big defender guy.
Ya, gue tau lah dia juga ya mungkin disensor atau apa. Dia beli dari Yopi kan.
Oh.
Iya. I know man, I know. I run this shoot. Gary canda. Ya, gue sama Gary juga banyak ngobrol-ngobrol juga. Ya, gue juga kaget waktu dia ngambil that 993. It looks beautiful,
Bagus
warna
banget
biru
sih.
segala macam.
Birunya juga, iya.
Ya, gue sih kepengennya dapat 993 turbo, cuman kayaknya harganya udah gak masuk akal deh.
Tapi ada bro, itu lu gotta look around apa kayak it's openly in the market kayak ini lagi dijual gitu.
Ada satu dan full paper.
Itu udah checklist lo udah kayak yes.
Cuman
Tapi pasti harganya gila sih.
Ya gue juga nggak tahu ya, but I think you will know that guy.
Oke.
Gengnya si inilah.
Oke.
Legit.
I do know si ini bro, like he's a good friend.
He's legit. Maksudnya
Okay.
bukan tukang goreng harga,
Okay,
bukan apa
okay.
dia keep it. And the family juga yang udah biasa cariin Porsche
I
juga.
see. Ya, tapi Porsche worldwide juga lagi harganya tinggi. Tapi it's slowing down a little bit. I think the global markets are a bit slowing down. So maybe will be good time soon.
Ya.
But we'll see.
Tapi what do you think about 993? Dari semua dari 964 kali atau 930, 964, 993, 997, 996-nya kita buang aja ya. What do you think? Which one the best Porsche?
Porsche, I mean, I love Porsches. I've never owned one. Jadi gue gak pernah ada experience of like, okay, kayaknya gue pengen
Dari looks aja gitu.
Dari looks 997 for me.
997? Not even 964?
Not even 964. Lately, all the guests have been talking about 964. Jadi gue udah ngeliat kayak, okay. Tapi kayak, I do like a modern classic ya, I guess. Something yang lebih nggak terlalu old school and clunky. I mean, itu ada orang-orang yang view that as an art piece and all that stuff. I understand that. Nothing against that. Cuman yang terlalu modern juga, like, I'm not a big fan. Tapi yang just in between, like what you said, it's a transitional era. Ada PDK already. It's not the Tiptronic on the 996, walaupun Tiptronic is like lebih kuat. we're not mentioning 996, sorry. Cuman, but you know, and it's quick enough. I mean, I'm not the type of guy yang go, oh, you gotta have like 1,000 horsepower. But nowadays, EVs are all quick, you know.
True.
Gue kemarin baru nyetil Volvo, it's like 0 to 100 4,8 detik.
Volvo yang gede ya?
Volvo XC40 memang yang gede, XC40 entry level Volvo EV itu tuh 4.8 to 100, 408 horsepower. Jadi gue kayak,
Crazy.
well, yeah, it's fast, cuman kayak now you can get fast easily, you know.
Ya,
kayak,
mobil Cina udah jauh lebih cepat.
exactly, the seal udah kayak 3 seconds to 100. Tapi just like that, properly fast yang kayak modern classic kayak menurut gue, the older cars are a bit slower. So I still like the need for speed. Namanya speed creep juga anyway. So I think 997
997
turbo.
ya berarti ya.
For me ya.
For you.
For me. So
Okay.
yeah, so you already have it, bro. I think all the dream cars of 99% of viewers are already in your garage.
Gala.
Jadi for me to say, okay, what's your dream car? Tapi kayak, if let's say kayak, this was gonna be a last question for later. Kayak the crazier cars kayak Pagani gitu atau
Enggak, Jack. Gue
Nggak
nggak
pernah
tertarik.
sampai.
I think gue punya prinsip yang dimana kita mau sampai kapan sih ngeliatin rumput tetangga terus. Maksudnya, I think because of social media banyak orang yang kayak, oh, I gotta have this, I gotta have this, I gotta have it. I think ada di masanya gue ngerasa, I think this is enough.
I see.
Gue kemarin sempat dari 2020 ke 2024 tuh gue sempat terlalu banyak beli mobil, makanya gue sempat kurang-kurangin. And gue sekarang benar-benar ngincer apa yang gue benar-benar suka gitu loh.
I
Dan
see.
apa kalau, of course kita juga pengennya yang 993 turbo atau GT or whatever 964 yang bla bla bla. I think sekarang gue lebih ya kalau gue bisa beli ya udah. Kalau gue nggak bisa juga nggak apa-apa. I still have my collection yang udah benar-benar
Gila man, your collection is a dream collection, bro.
And I think maksudnya gue kalau ngelihat ada orang yang paling bikin gue bahagia adalah ngelihat orang punya Lancer aja yang harganya 100 jutaan and dia sayang banget. I think it's just udah magically gue seneng. And I will follow that guy. Jadi ada beberapa orang yang gue follow karena dia nunjukin kecintaannya terhadap mobilnya dia yang benar-benar ini mobil gue yang gue sayangin. Walaupun harganya murah atau apa, gue gak peduli. This is my car. And those people are the happiest.
Iya, benar.
The happiest one. Gue pernah ngeliat orang yang punya, nggak mau nyebut apa ya, cuma maksudnya mobil-mobil mahal, Lambo, Ferrari, cuman kerjaannya jadi mikirin, oh gue mau punya mobil ini, mobil ini.
Iya.
But
where does it
they
stop?
are not the happiest one. The happiest one adalah lu punya mobil yang biasa-biasa aja, but you love it with your soul.
Benar. Setuju. Wow, that's very deep but very true.
That's
the pure passion of it.
Yeah.
So you mentioning you collected a lot of cars. So now we're shifting focus a little bit.
Sure.
So a lot of our viewers, kenapa kita ngomongin about the career and the business is because they aspire to be like you one day. You know, like they want to have that NSX in the garage.
Amen.
So tell me about your. So I learned you dulu sempat kerja di pabrik for a while. So tell me about that. So you have a family business. And
yes,
then,
I worked for my family for 5 years.
it's a manufacturing company.
Manufacturer, Yasunli. And then that time really harsh. When gue dari Amerika, waktu gue balik ke pabrik, ya gue ngerasain yang dimana dulu dikasih duit jajan $3,000, $4,000 di saat itu 2010. Dan tiba-tiba dari those kind of numbers jadi dikasihnya 5 juta per bulan. But it's okay. Kalau gue ngelihat gue yang masa lalu, kalau gue nggak dikerasin sama orang tua gue, I don't think gue jadi person yang sekarang gitu loh. And sampai sekarang gue masih mencari validasi dari orang tua gue gimana caranya gue bisa ngebanggain mereka gitu loh. And the right way adalah ngebuktiin bahwa lu bisa di luaran sana tanpa maksudnya campur tangan orang tua, and you can be a better person daripada sebelumnya. Gitu aja sih sebenarnya sih.
I see.
And
so you work there berapa lama waktu
5 years.
5 years?
5 years ditimpa mati-matian sama my father, my encek, dan segala macem. And
this was 2010 pas lo udah balik?
Yes, baru balik. Gue kerja 5 tahun, habis itu for 5 years. Gak betah juga, gak kuat, mental gue kalah. And I start event business, ice cream. Dari ice cream, dari bazar to bazar, gue ngumpulin duit, gue bisa bikin restoran di Menteng, Maple and Oak. Yes, that's my first, my legit business for the first time. Tapi dari situ aja gue masih hustling, gue masih jual beli sneakers dari Amerika, gue kirim ke Indonesia,
Oke.
jualin.
Dan itu lagi nge-hype ya? This is
Crazy.
talking about 2015?
No, this is like 2012.
2012, oh. Waktu lo masih di pabrik nih?
Masih di pabrik juga. Gue masih punya, gue waktu bikin Maple and Oak tuh gue masih pabrik. Cuma lama-lama gue mestinya jangan pernah ninggalin kerjaan utama lu demi passion, yang passion lu belum bisa ngasih duit.
Yes.
Sampai lu udah dapet nih ininya, baru
take
gua
note
bisa
guys,
tinggal.
take note guys.
Jadi pas Kick Avenue awal-awal juga gue baru kayak kirim-kirimin segala macam sampai one day
lo ngelihat opportunity atau you like
of course,
sneakers?
I like sneakers.
Di US you were active atau enggak?
Iya, definitely. Gue
Terus
dari
kapan?
US yang pertamanya cuman kayak ini apaan sih orang ngantri buat sneaker, gue pelajarin culture-nya, gue bingung kenapa di Indonesia nggak ada. Ternyata banyak orang-orang Indonesia yang baru pulang dari Amerika juga mereka looking for the sneakers, tapi mereka nggak bisa nih ke Amerika, deh itu akhirnya gue yang jadi private shoppersnya mereka gitu. I'm hustling so bad for that. And gue ingat banget, I can get Yeezy for 4 million rupiah, and then in here I can sell it for 25, 27 million, stuff like that. Until terciptalah USS as a first sneaker event yang gue bikin. Itu ada Kick Avenue juga, the first C2C marketplace for sneakers. And after that, dari situ time goes by until now.
So you started, USS was afterwards. Jadi ini Kick Avenue duluan.
Maple and Oak,
Maple and Oak.
USS, baru Kick Avenue.
Oke. Nah USS was what year? 20...
Awal untuk bikinnya itu 2017, cuman
2017,
jadi PT itu 2019. Karena pertamanya kan cuma event based doang.
Jadi pertama kali so you imported the sneakers. This is the fascinating story for me sih. Jadi lo udah mulai bawa, lo bolak-balik US waktu itu sering.
Bolak-balik US, yes.
Lo bawa,
pakai koper, pakai apa. Pokoknya gue make sure profit gue dari sneakers itu menutupi gue punya traveling pakai economy classes, the cheapest airlines.
Oh, so you went there just to shop?
Iya, just to shop, buying any yang punya potensi dan segala macam. Ya udah balik ke Indonesia jualin lagi.
Lo jualinnya waktu itu gimana?
Just bro, gue just tipper.
Iya, just tipper premium lah ya. Kayak marginnya kayak 400%.
Ya, datang bro.
So that was the hype at the time, and you leveraged on it, so you were hustling for that. Jadi lo bawa, how did you sell? You started forming a community, lama-lama lo.
Makanya dulu namanya sneaker society. Makanya akhirnya gue bikin Urban Sneaker Society, which is disingkat USS.
Dan lo ketemu sama sneakers gitu?
Yes, the community, sneakerheads, gue DM-in, gitu. Dan gitu gue mulai diliput sama Hypebeast juga that time.
Oh, oke, nice. Oh, diliput, and then that was...
Yes, mungkin yang paling viralnya waktu itu gara-gara gue beli LV Supreme. Yang gue dari head to toe LV Supreme. I'm sorry, it's so cringe.
Photo here.
So cringe. Like,
hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, bro.
Cuman waktu itu
all the respect.
Kayak gini loh, itu I think titik baliknya di situ yang awalnya gue. Karena waktu itu jadi Supreme udah gila banget lah. I think everyone itu. Waktu mereka collab sama LV Supreme, Supreme itu di-resell hoodie-nya dari kayak $200 jadi $1,000. Wow. Ini starting point-nya hoodie-nya LV Supreme itu 17 juta. Jadi udah $1,000. Which is orang kayaknya ini nggak mungkin di-resell. Kayak it's gonna be flop or whatever. So waktu gue di Australia, kebetulan gue lagi jalan-jalan. Itu lagi kebetulan. Mereka launching pertama kali karena Australia kan yang paling pertama kan. Time zone-nya kan. Jadi gue ngantri, itu sepi. Kayak cuma 3 orang, 4 orang. I was like, gue ngantri. Dan gitu pas gue masuk, gue beli-beliin aja semuanya. The next day, I don't know why, Justin Bieber came to shop there. And tiba-tiba harganya jual semua. And I have the all collection.
Oh, wow.
I remember the hoodie that I buy for 17 million, I sell it for 65 mil.
Wah, gila.
And I think, and before I sold it, I put all the shit that I bought, I put it on the Instagram, and all the reposter and the social media reposting my outfit. Yeah, that's crazy.
That was the first
the first time I got viral.
Viral ya. Kalau zaman dulu bilangnya Game Shark-nya, bro. That was a cheat code yang
oh my god, I was like, what the hell? Everyone asking me, is this real? Is this and
okay. Dan lo udah ada brand ini waktu itu as a
USS?
Just Tipper or whatever.
No,
just personal.
This is personal, yeah. Just call Jejo and I will try to find what do you need.
Interesting. So that jump started, and then sneaker event pertama kali lo akhirnya bikin. Like, okay, I'm gonna make one.
Yes. Itu udah gue udah bikin.
Oh, udah bikin.
Tapi gue masih tetap hustling untuk jadi Just
Tipper.
Dan you know what? Yang paling penting kayak gini. Jadi ada satu orang, gue ingat namanya Falsap. Jadi waktu gue ngantri, Jadi gue beli 2 hoodie.
Oke.
Jadi ada 1 hoodie gue beli dengan harga 17 juta kan.
Oke.
Udah gitu si Falsap ngomong sama gue kayak, bro gue mau hoodie-nya dong. Gue bilang, lu tau nggak harganya berapa gitu. Gue juga nggak tahu karena waktu hari pertama kan nggak ada yang tahu harga kan. And ya udah deh gue beli 30 juta, which is double gitu. And waktu the next day kan harganya laku 65 jutaan. Si Falsap nanya, bro lu mau ganti harganya nggak gitu. Gue bilang enggak. Once lu udah ngomong kita udah agree di 30-an, I will stick with 30-an. So those are the business ethic yang gue pegang sampai sekarang. Never change something yang you udah agree upon gara-gara cuman demi profit yang lebih banyak.
Because of greed basically or something. Credibility.
I think gue bisa vouch on that. Falsap, if you listen this is the old time. And I think those kind of ethic yang bisa bikin lu somewhere in this life.
Because reputation trumps any sort of profits, bro.
Yes.
Kayak,
And I think whenever gua bikin event, bikin retail or whatever, the number one is ethical first. The ethics yang lu bisa, kalau emang mau gede, ya lu mesti kerja keras. Dan kerja keras juga mesti punya ethical. And those are the foundation gimana ngedrive gua sampai sekarang sih.
Nice. So what was the biggest out of that experience yang so you had the Justin Bieber event. Habis itu lo bikin USS events, Urban Sneaker Society events, and then became a media company. Like
USS Feeds itu pas lagi COVID, gue nggak bisa bikin event, nggak bisa, there's no pemasukan segala macam.
So it was a COVID baby.
So I was like, kita mesti punya produk nih yang orang bisa nginget tentang USS. So we create USS Feed. Within 3 months, we get like 200,000 followers, and it's just keep growing.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. And so that leads to where you are now. What do you sibuk apa nih sekarang? Masih USS, masih aktif?
I think my main job is USS, of course.
Shout out to USS.
I got investor, of course nggak bisa.
Nggak bisa ngomongin lagi.
I think USS is always be my main priority. Kita juga USS udah bukan cuma sekedar event doang. Kita actually jadi brand incubators di mana kita juga beliin brand retail under us yang bisa kita gede.
Ada invest capital and also incubate them into.
Salah satunya ada beberapa media sama event juga. Salah satunya Beyond yang boxing Chalice. Shout out to Chalice, good job on it. And then after that, gue kemarin coba ke Pet, which is gue kerja sama Sinarmas bikin Pet Fest bawa Caesar Milan. Jadi I think kita mulai nggak mau diingat sebagai USS Sneakers, tapi USS yang bisa ngebawain lifestyle event.
I see.
And end up sebagai brand incubator those brands.
Wah, hebat. Crazy. So since I first met you, gue ingat banget. I'm like, oh man, this guy, you just have an eye for things yang kadang-kadang tuh as a business, okay, this is a good, because that takes a bit of gut feeling too, you know. It takes a skill, maybe jam terbang plays a lot of it. Tapi innately within you tuh ada sesuatu yang lo kayak, okay, this is gonna be big. You know, and I think you can apply that to like cars and everything else. It's just within you. What's sort of a tip yang lo kayak before you take on the next business tuh, lo carinya apa sih? What do you feel? Is it gut feeling? Is it the market? Are you the type of guy yang kayak put on the numbers? Kayak okay, this makes sense. I have a guy here yang, for example, he's a restaurateur. Before he opens, if everything checks out, tapi kayak gutnya nggak right, dia nggak bakal buka.
I think
menurut lo apa? What's your before you jump into the next business? Although kayak loncat dulu and then learn later.
That's actually my thing. Loncat dulu, bro.
Trial and error, bro. Hey, that's what
cuman
we need
itu
to do.
yang karena once upon the time waktu gue di pabrik, ini kesalahan yang gue nggak ambil. Waktu itu jadi kenapa gue bisa menjadi orang seperti ini? Gue waktu di pabrik gue orangnya the safe guy banget gitu loh. Gue kerja di pabrik, benar-benar jadi anak kuai-kuai. Anak kuai tuh baik-baik. Dan gue waktu itu tahun 2011 temen gue bikin dum-dum dan gue diajakin.
The Thai iced tea.
The Thai iced tea, man.
Yang sugarnya berapa? Nggak tahu tuh.
Iya, yang es batunya berat segunung.
Oh iya.
Jesus, man. Cuman dia bilang, gue mau bikin dum-dum nih, lu mau ikutan nggak segala macam. I think one of my friend, waktu itu gue diajakin dan gue takut kayak maksudnya yang duit gue masih dari gajian tapi waktu itu capital udah bisa, cuman gue takut untuk ngelepasin, kan mereka bilang tapi lu mesti bantuin nih kerja atau kayak gimana. Di itu gue nggak berani. Dan waktu mereka bikin ini anak-anak muda seumuran gue dan mereka jadi gede waktu itu, and I was like it could be me gitu loh. Dan any ideation, mau lu sejago apa ngidein, lu mau kayak gimana, if you don't execute, idea is only idea.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
So you gotta be man up, execute it, and think later.
Yeah. And in a way juga failure is not really failure, it's schooling. Lo juga belajar dari situ kan? Tell me about that. Are there a couple of things yang
Of course. Maksudnya semua orang pada ngelihat gua ya, wah Jejo banyak berhasilnya, ya enggak juga. Maksudnya kayak pemilihan mobil banyak juga Jam, mobil-mobil yang flop yang akhirnya gua mesti jual rugi ya.
Yeah.
Of course, I mean, but in the end, you gotta be jadi smarter through this experience. I think one of the car scene people yang gue respect, like Boy Pablo, shout out to Boy Pablo, respect that guy, grind so hard for that. And satu lagi Om Leo.
Okay.
Om Leo, shit, suhu. Whenever dia udah owner Ferrari Club, I think.
Yeah.
And the way that dia masih passionate tentang flipping mobil itu so crazy. Dan dia masih hunting kemana-mana.
Yes.
Those are the guy that yang maksudnya ini orang udah kaya loh sekarang, tapi mereka masih stay basic to their roots, nyari mobil murah, bisa gue benerin, bisa gue jual for the profit. That's the guy.
Basic business fundamentals,
Yes.
Basic business fundamentals and just.
Dan maksudnya ini orang udah kaya semua, tapi maksudnya dia masih nge-hustling untuk nyari-nyari mobil-mobil yang bisa gue flip nih, dan harus mobil yang dia suka.
Yes.
At least kalau nggak kejual dia bisa pakai kan.
Yeah.
What a dream, man.
Yeah. That's the dream.
What a dream. So I think look at those people. Makin lama lu bakal learn sih. Bos. Dan I think yang paling penting adalah taste sih, emang benar. I mean,
you can't buy it.
You cannot buy the taste.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, some people, ada duit bisa beli anything else. Yeah, true. But in the end, taste adalah something yang lu benar-benar punya your personal presence gitu. Dan nggak semua orang punya itu. Dan I think you can learn it, but you cannot buy it.
Yeah. Interesting. Learn it, but you can't buy it. A few things in life are like that.
Yeah.
But so you mentioned a couple of names. Those are entrepreneurs yang you.
Iya, gue idolin banget.
Idolin.
Ya Boy Pablo, maksudnya gue belajar untuk flipping mobil untuk kayak jadi kayak dia.
Yeah,
ada lebih seniornya lagi, Om Leo kan.
Iya, benar. Boy Pablo started from Modcom sampai sekarang juga masih amazing guy. I asked him to be on the show, boleh colekin dia. Dia bilang kayak, I'm not comfortable on camera. I'm like, bro, come on, man, we want to hear your story. Okay, so as entrepreneurs nih, maybe a couple of viewers lagi thinking about being an entrepreneur someday. So a lot of the businesses you mentioned, maybe it's a trading business, right? Okay, you buy something and you flip it for something higher.
True.
What's something yang mungkin a common mistake or a learning? Tadi lo bilang kan reputation is more important than anything. What's another thing yang mungkin lo bisa share ke viewers?
Paling penting jangan terlalu terlena di zona nyaman sih menurut gua. Karena maksudnya I think kalau gue stick di zona nyaman, where I only can make event and every year just one, doesn't have to do anything, ya itu bakal cepat mati sih. So gue makanya fokusnya always keluar dari comfort zone, nggak pernah ngelupain juga rootsnya. Jadi kayak waktu gue bikin Pet Fest, bantuin bikin Beyond, itu something yang gue nggak ngerti, tapi willing lu untuk belajar sejauh mana gitu. And sejauh ini gue selalu bilang, if I cannot understand it, I need to learn it from somewhere else atau partneran sama someone else. Jadi lu nggak perlu stuck di dunia kecil lu terus, akhirnya lu bisa ekspansi.
Yeah. And would you say kayak partnering and collaborating with other people, lu encourage itu banget, because that's the quickest way to learn.
Yeah,
based on my experience, do you agree with that?
Yes. So, walaupun tersusahnya adalah finding the right partners.
Yes.
And terakhir mungkin kalau saran yang paling benar-benar gue apply adalah there's no instant success. Everything must be a small success yang leads become a bigger success.
Yes, agreed.
Jadi lu bisa bangun pagi, it's good, it's your small success. Lu bangun pagi, lu bisa ngelipet, lu punya ranjang, small success. Lu bisa on time, nurut sama istri lu, small success.
Ini mesti ada counter ini, attacks on wife. Kayak udah berapa kali nih bro, berapa kali? Okay, but it's true.
Yeah, and lu dapat punya pertama kali sponsorship walaupun cuma 50 mil or 100 mil, small success. Karena those big money apapun nggak bakal terjadi kalau lu nggak punya small success.
Setuju.
And that's what I learned. Maksudnya I live from a privileged family yang maksudnya gue nggak bisa bilang gue Jeju dari orang susah.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit man. But
Yeah.
I learned it really in a hard way, dimana gue belajar jadi profesional untuk starting dari orang yang maksudnya nge-grinding untuk dapetin tenan, dapetin sneakers, and I believe you need to start from that way untuk become jadi someone out there.
Yeah. No, I agree. One thing yang tadi gue pengen tanya sih about your career juga. Are you thinking of going back to the family business someday? Is it something? And because I don't know, for me, we have kids now, right?
Yeah.
We have kids. So you think about their future. You think, I want to build that empire for us. You know, like to in a way di mana like maybe satu kayak ini cocok nih numbers ini jadi CFO deh one day I'm gonna groom it's grooming, right? But like in a way, you know. It's lineage.
I think it's not for me to answer it because ya mesti nanya bokap gue, boleh gak gue diterima balik? Boleh gak?
This is an open letter.
Sama kakek gue gitu loh, sama cek gue.
Yeah.
Nggak, cuman in the end gue selalu ngerasa ya kalau gue emang pantas ya lu coba dong hijack gue.
Gila.
If I'm worthy enough, come on,
Okay,
give me the
okay.
offer that I cannot refuse.
Yeah.
But in the end gue selalu percaya, maksudnya gue nggak mau gue jadi orang yang silver spoon, yang maksudnya
Yes.
gue bisa keluar kapan aja, gue bisa balik kapan aja. I think when it's time gue untuk balik dan segala macam, it must be something yang mereka udah ngerasa gue udah ready maturely, dan maksudnya karena ya USS karyawan berapa? 200 orang, pabrik ada more than 6,000 people.
Wow.
It's different level, and I
different.
think kalau mereka udah ngerasa gue sanggup dan gue ready, I'm more mature, I think ya gue bisa balik-balik. Tapi it must be, gue juga mesti bisa ngebantuin USS in some way.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a tougher question because I also know a couple of families. Let's say their opinions one day in any shape or form udah nggak, it's not the deciding factor.
Yeah.
It's 100% on you, Jay.
Yeah.
You want to continue that legacy or not?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think capek lah. Maksudnya kayak gue juga sometimes kalau ngelihat USS nangis lah, kayak maksudnya dari gue nge-hustling kemana, dan maksudnya gue berkaca ke bokap gue, ke encek gue, ke kakek gue, gimana mereka bener-bener mesti pinjam uang sebanyak itu, ngegadain rumah untuk bikin pabrik. The blood and sweat itu ada di situ gitu loh. Dan kalau gue nggak ngelanjutin, siapa yang mau ngelanjutin? Maksudnya it can be professional ya, whatever. Cuman gue harap keturunan gue pun kalau bisa ngelanjutin, mereka tuh deserve untuk ngelanjutin, bukan dipaksa untuk menjadi gitu loh.
Wow.
If they have the quality to become the leaders, because not everyone is born to be a leader. Not everyone bisa jadi entrepreneurs. We cannot force them. But if this guy or that guy or this son or this daughter can be someone that lead the company, let them be. Gitu loh. Dan kita mesti sebagai orang yang lebih senior mesti legowo juga. Kayak jangan berarti kalau anak gua nggak bisa tapi tetap dipaksain. Enggak, company akan hancur.
Benar.
Make someone yang profesional yang bisa nge-lead.
Benar.
Tapi kalau anak lu bisa untuk bisa itu, dites dong. Diaduin sama profesional. Which one is better? Which one is yang dan mikir secara fairful, which one yang capable to lead this company.
So yeah, that makes sense. So you want to continue that legacy someday, right?
Yeah, and you mean misalnya for example, lu mau punya this kind of apartment, something you need to sacrifice gitu. Kayak gue ngomong ke istri gue juga, gue selalu bilang, lu mau hidup enak, anak-anak ini, ya gue mungkin jadi jarang ke rumah atau apa gitu loh. If you want to have this kind of apartment, you gotta work hard to have this apartment.
Benar. Something's gotta give. Something's gotta give, gak bisa.
Pilihannya cuma dua kan, punya bapak orang kaya atau lu kerja keras.
Benar.
And I hope gue yang orang kedua.
Benar.
Pengennya.
But you know, we have friends and I know a few people yang orang pertama, for example, there's just something missing. You know, like I think good ini sort of a philosophy that gue suka follow like entrepreneurs and sort of their story, and that's why partly why I do this podcast juga. Ada satu bapak in his private jet, dia ada anak-anak kecilnya, dia bilang, you know what, I can give them everything that they ask for. The only thing that I cannot teach them is poverty, and that's what I had to go through. Yeah, I had to go through that hardship, and they're never gonna experience it. Of course, gue nggak mau mereka experience itu, ya kan? Tapi it's such a big life lesson for me karena that hardship shaped everything else that surrounds my life, gitu. So I think for the number one pasti juga kayak it's gonna come like life is full of crap. You know what I mean? So you're gonna have to go through that one way or the other. Whether it's high enough sampai lo jatuhnya lebih hancur, you have to get yourself back up like Phoenix from the fire, you know. But no matter what, you have to go through that. And I think that's one of the
type
things.
of hardshipnya mungkin beda-beda, tiap orang punya
Exactly.
beda-beda gitu loh.
Doesn't mean mesti kayak bangkrut, losing everything, but like you know, small hardships yang kayak kayak how do you shape yourself from this?
Yeah, I think in my time, that time is like when yang gue mesti keluar dari pabrik, maksudnya gue dulu ngerasain ya good salary, cuma kan anything, driver, rumah,
Perks-nya lah ya.
semua udah dibiayain. Gue mau keluar negeri dibayarin sama bapak gitu, tapi waktu gue decide to quit, everything is lost. Kayak gue cuma dikasih makan doang di rumah, that's it. Makanya gendut tetep gendut.
Which is good. Big expense bro untuk makanan.
Gue di situ gue ngerasain yang dimana gue kerja di bazar, gue mesti jualan es krim, bangun restoran, bikin USS, gue kerja di this apartment gede banget, enak banget. Gue punya kerja itu waktu itu masih co-working space, ruangannya segini nih dari situ segitu, dan diisi 8 orang, jadi gue kerja, bawah gue ada orang yang lagi kerja di bawah. Oh my god, cuman I think itu yang ngebuat gue gimana gue bisa appreciate a lot of people, yang maksudnya mungkin gak se-fortunate gue, but number one is always humble, karena nggak semua orang bisa seberuntung kita, dan kita mesti kasih mereka benar-benar apa yang kita bisa laluin juga, and you need to understand them juga.
Yes. No, I agree, and I think part of this segment kadang-kadang kita suka, the last part is not kadang-kadang, we always talk about like a philosophy of life. You know, and kenapa I think this is important is this is the message yang everyone should be able to learn from. Ya kan, kayak tadi lo bilang what you mentioned waktu itu just a small comment aja bahwa orang yang kayak maybe a Lancer aja, tapi that's enough for them to be happy and like passionate about is sometimes better than someone who has like 300 cars, have everything and but still want more, not satisfied and everything else. So other than that, kayak is there another a philosophy yang menurut lo kayak, you know what, you don't have to look for like you know 200 cars or whatever it is, but in life juga kayak just be thankful for
for everything.
Ada lagi nggak yang menurut lo kayak
jangan take it for granted sih, I think. And everything yang udah di-provide sama Tuhan buat kalian, as long that you work hard on it, you will get somewhere in this life. Kalau lu nggak mau work hard, ya you cannot go anywhere. Buat gue juga, walaupun gue punya privilege or whatever, I think gue sangat bersyukur dengan diri gue sendiri yang mau put extra mile in this life situation hingga akhirnya gue bisa sekarang gitu. And I don't want orang cuma taunya, oh Jejo anaknya siapa, tapi Jejo bisa jadi siapa. That's the point that I really want it.
Dan lo when you have a dream, do you kayak ada satu guest for example ya, dia bilang oh, I manifest my goals. Jadi kayak dia beli dulu kayak diecast-nya. Habis itu lama-lama kayak how do you sort of get there? Atau lo tipe yang oke lo go aja kayak and then suddenly like it happens. Atau kayak do you do ada guest yang pray for it and then suddenly it happens and kayak just
gue in my life most of the time is so spontaneous. I mean kalau gue waktu itu sepeda gue nggak pecah bannya, gue nggak ketemu Jacqueline, gue juga waktu itu cari tahu Jacqueline soalnya kan banyak kerjaan di Sensi kan. Kalau nggak tahu Jacqueline juga this R34 nggak bakal ketemu kalau gue nggak ke bengkel dan nggak buka itunya. I think it's called butterfly effect yang where dimana you never know what you're gonna get.
Okay.
As long you work hard on it, you pray hard on it, and you manifest, everything can be happen.
Tadi lo bilang apa? What effect namanya?
Butterfly effect.
Butterfly effect.
Yes.
Okay. Butterfly effect. Okay. So what's a philosophy in your life yang different than what you do in your business?
Different? Oh my God, what kind, like kayak gimana?
Let's rephrase it.
Okay.
What's a life philosophy yang lo stand by, regardless lo di business iya, di family iya, and like what is it?
Oh, gue ada panjang sih, Chinese.
Oh, there we go.
It's a Chinese proverb yang diturunkan dari kakek gua ke bokap gua.
This is
dan
what we
ke
want to
gua.
hear, bro. This is what we want to hear. Yang menurut lo, as you go through life,
Ini
to
kan
where
panjang
you
loh,
are
is that okay?
now. No, just a couple.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe
Couple minutes. Okay.
Couple yang menurut lo kayak lo masih ingat lah.
Gue cuman ngerasa kakek gue selalu bilang, anything yang terjadi itu, apakah itu keberuntungan dan kesialan, nggak ada yang tahu. So, kakek gue pernah cerita, kalau one day, dulunya di zaman dia, katanya ada satu kampung yang penuh dengan kuda. Kuda itu kabur.
Oke.
Dan orang yang punya kampungnya pada bilang, wah sorry ya lu kesialan ya, kayak gitu. Ownernya bilang, apakah ini keberuntungan atau kesialan? Nggak ada yang tahu.
Oke.
And then kudanya yang kabur balik lagi bawa gerombolan kuda.
Iya.
The villager bilang, wah kuda lu bawa hoki banget nih segala macam.
Yeah.
Orangnya yang punya kuda pada bilang, apakah ini keberuntungan atau kesialan? Tidak ada yang tahu.
Interesting.
And one day itu kuda bawa anaknya jatuh.
Oke.
Semua villager datang lagi. Wah kuda lu bawa sial ternyata gitu, anak lu jatuh. Ownernya bilang, apakah ini keberuntungan atau kesialan? Nggak ada yang tahu. And one day, itu desa ada perang. Semua anak muda, semua dikirim perang. Kecuali anaknya yang...
Oh my God.
Dan orangnya pada bilang, wah lu hoki banget. Orangnya bilang, apakah ini keberuntungan, kesialan? Nggak ada yang tahu.
Oke.
So, sometimes in this life, kita dapat hardship, kita bangkrut, kita sukses. Dan orang bilang, wah lu beruntung, lu sial, lu beruntung. But in the end, no one knows. Is this a luck? Or is this some mysterious way to shape your life?
Yes.
Apakah kesialan atau keberuntungan? Gak ada yang tahu.
Gila. That's so true though. That's so true.
That's the proverb yang gue sampai sekarang gue manifest in my life.
Yeah. So you don't stress over the things that happen, tapi kayak we never know.
Gue nggak naik kelas, gue dikeluarin, sekolah gue juga jelek banget. I never know that I can be like in this stuff gitu loh.
Keren banget. Okay. That's enough. That's a problem I will keep, bro. That's a reel on its own, guys. Okay, take note. Alright, so as we close off this episode, we usually go through yang namanya lightning round.
Okay, cool.
So lo nggak usah mikirin lama-lama, lo langsung jawab out of the two options. Yang mana, okay? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, lightning round. Lo mau a drive at Hakone or a day at SneakerCon?
Hakone.
Okay. Supreme or Bathing Ape?
Supreme.
Nissan or Honda?
Nissan.
Okay. Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
911 or GTR?
Oh my God. Sorry for this, but 911.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean secara
Bawah GTR.
Overall.
Okay. You don't need to justify. It's okay.
Overall.
Okay. So, and then the last question we always ask is, okay, get rid of all your car collection. Okay, you have no cars, but you're in the same state in your life. You got your kids, you got your wife, you got your business. Money is no object. Infinite money hack. Tapi lu hanya bisa pilih 3 mobil. What would they be?
A GTR, an NSX, and a Toyota Alphard.
I like how the Alphard's last. My family kids, udah Alphard aja lah.
Udah ada Alphard 1, hidup lu aman. Istri lu juga aman.
Okay. Well, that's all we have for you today, bro. Well, thank you so much again for coming to our episode of Sweeter Talks. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Again, thanks to Region Residence for hosting us today.
Nice place.
Thank you so much for bro Jeffrey Joe. Excited for what you have in store for us in the next few years with USS and everything you're doing.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you so much, bro. Take care, man. Thank you, man. Take care, speeders. Bye.
Woo-hoo!